What's good? What's good? What's good, fans? How y'all doing today, tonight? This is a memorable evening, Cleveland. Um, this is a memorable evening. We're gonna get into it. A lot of you guys remember where you were so many years ago on this day. But I want to thank you tonight for tuning into the Voice of the Fans podcast. This is week 300, Cleveland. This is week 308 of this iteration of Voice of the Fans podcast. Here it is, September 11th, 2024. We're going to talk about week one in the NFL. We got NFL to talk about now, fans. We're going to talk about our recap of week one. We're going to talk about our predictions for week two. We got some NBA conversations to talk about. And we're going to talk about the Major League Baseball. We got some boxing notes to talk about. Obviously, we're going to have our game, a numbers game at the beginning of the show. Our This Week in History segment toward the middle of the show, just trying to educate some of you fans. And then we're going to end the show, obviously, with our quote, as we do most of the weeks. So thank you guys for tuning into the Voice of the Fans podcast. I don't have my sound machine, fans, so I can't give you guys a round of applause. I can't laugh Cleveland off the show when we get to talking about his Jets. But Cleveland, we got one solid week without rain in the Northwest. I guess I should be happy that it was 7 days and not complain about the little rain we had today. Is that what you're going to tell me?
I mean, it's par for the course, Cameron. I mean, it was a little bit of a precipitation, but it's been great weather so far last week or so.
The last week hasn't been bad. I must say, it's 7 days,
It's quite hot and humid, as a matter of fact, over the weekend. So,
oh, here we go, hot and humid. Let's not get carried away. My goodness, let's not get carried away. Hot and humid, I wouldn't go that far, but we were without rain from the time I landed until today, and I'm quite impressed. That's about 9 days. I guess I was just I just got to deal with that. I can't get too excited because we had 8 straight days with no rain up here. Is pretty nice, Cleveland. But let's get into the show, man. Let's start the show off with our numbers game, Cleveland. With it being September 11th, 2024, week 308 of the Voice of the Fans podcast, we're going to look at the number 11, Cleveland. When you think of the number 11, who wore that jersey number the best? Or who comes to your mind first?
Who comes to mind first is Jackson Smith and Jigba, just because of his contribution to the Seahawk win. Who wore the best? Isaiah Thomas.
Okay. Okay. So as I'm peeking over here at what's going down here at the Metro Stadium, we're going to call it from now on, Metro Stadium downtown. What do they call it? Soto District, where the Mariners play, because it won't be too long before the Metro League All-Stars will be playing in that stadium, the high school team that should be playing in that stadium. No Edgar Martinez love?
A little bit, yeah. I mean,
no Detlef Schrempf love?
Those guys just barely missed the cut.
Yeah. Detlef Schrempf, didn't he go? He went to school in Montlake. Yeah. What you know about that school in Montlake?
Sure did, yeah. Final Four.
No Kelly Stauffer? When you think of the number 8, Cleveland, who wore that jersey number the best, or who comes to your mind first?
I'm going to go with Lamar Jackson coming to mind first. Who wore it the best? Cal Ripken Jr., pretty sure.
Cal Ripken Jr. better than Kobe Bryant?
Well,
ooh.
I guess for it would have to be Kobe Bean.
Come on. I mean, I know you wouldn't go with your guy who also went to school in Montlake, Napoleon Coffin. You probably don't even know who that is.
No, I actually went to school with that dude. So
he goes. Anybody, if you went to school at Montlake, you get no love from Cleveland in the numbers game. Or my guy Lonnie Shelton, man. I was a big fan of Lonnie Shelton. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Big power forward. That's what a real ideal quintessential power forward was in basketball. Lonnie Shelton. Cleveland, there's so much to talk about during the show here, but we can't start the show off without talking about Tyreek Hill and what happened pregame, the Miami Dolphins situation. I mean, there's a lot of you can go a lot of directions with this. Police brutality has been in the news now for several years. Overzealous cops is always an issue. Um, Tyreek Hill probably wasn't the best show of cooperation and amicable in a being amicable in a situation. However, it didn't require him to get snatched out of his car like he did, like he was. It didn't require once they had the guy handcuffed, laid on the ground and handcuffed, and then put him to the sidewalk. It didn't. Um, he did nothing that required the officer to jump on his neck and bring him back to the ground. Um, when Tyreek Hill mentioned that I just had knee surgery, and the guy yells, "You should have surgery on your ears!" Like there, him rolling up the window didn't deserve all that. The body cameras you saw from multiple angles. I don't know how much. I'm not sure how many videos you watch, but it just seemed to get progressively worse and worse and worse. The multiple angles that you saw. Um, What's your thoughts on that situation, Cleveland? And you could take it again. There's many angles to talk about this situation from, but what's your thoughts on that initial situation?
Well, there's a couple things, Cam. First and foremost, being an African American male that's been pulled over by the police before, it was always my understanding that there's this thing called run your plates that the police do. And when they run your plates, this thing pops up on their screen that says exactly who this person is, where they live, all of their pertinent information. And if it's not that person, that's when you should be a little concerned. But if you pull it up and it says Tyreek Hill and you're 2 minutes from the stadium, it's like, okay.
Not even 2 minutes. Not even 2 minutes. Not even 2 minutes. It's like a 2-minute walk.
Incredibly close proximity to the
you
stadium.
can see the stadium in the background of the videos.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, if this isn't Tyreek Hill, then we should be concerned. But when you step up to the car after doing that, that's kind of who you should be expecting to see. And you already know where they're going. You already know what they're going to do. So that should be the premise that you kind of start with. Now, okay, maybe he was being a little asshole-ish with the window and up and down, and I'm in a hurry, and do whatever you got to do.
He gave him his license. He said, "Do your thing." He told him, "Do your thing." He gave him his license.
He did. So that's part one. So you already kind of have a pretty good idea as to, and it's in a Lamborghini, right? So it's like, okay, you kind of already know who you're going to see, right? And then secondly, I'm just kind of disappointed with my Latino brothers, man. It's like, why are you doing another minority like this? It's kind of like a little bit off the grid. It's like, I almost feel like I've always heard this about Florida, and I spent a lot of time in Miami in the 90s. Not a lot of time, like 2 months, straight in Miami in the 90s. And I kind of understand the demographics a little bit, but sometimes it's just this discord that just kind of, comes about between, the communities. At other times, it's a lot of unity, but at other times, it's almost like a superiority complex. And so that also kind of manifested itself. And then lastly, it was just the response after other people tried to get involved. It was like, all of a sudden it was like this manic state, right? Where like, Calais Campbell, hey, you get out of the way. And then all of a sudden they kind of realized the, environment that they were in, and like they were not anonymous. And all of a sudden they kind of tried to, kind of downplay the situation. But by that point, it was just too late, It had already escalated to what it was. And so then, you have to give Tyreek Hill, the utmost props for being able to kind of compartmentalize all of that and still come out and ball out, man.
You're right. You're right in pointing out with the initial things that the cops do. That was a good call by you. The initial things that the cops do is run your plates, regardless of what kind of car it is, who it is, where you at, what time of day, what time of nights. They're running your plates. Is the car stolen? Um, is it hot? And when you see the name that pops up, as you mentioned, when you go to the car, if you don't see that dude, then your senses should elevate. But if you see who that dude is, come on, man. Slow down, bro. You can't do this around here, man. We got kids coming. We got a lot of people going to be around here. Dude, here's your ticket, man. Get out of here. But come on, bro. But he just got super excited, and their demographics is, sometimes they love us, sometimes they hate us, and it is a weird demographic, because you experience that in Southern California, or I experienced that same thing in Southern California as well. And sometimes they love you, sometimes they hate you. Um, it could have handled the situation, could have gone much better. I do wish and hope that Tyreek would say this one thing. He's already vowed to sue Miami Dade. He says in his initial press conference on Sunday, he says, I want to be a sheriff. I have a hat and all that. I don't know if you heard that. That was kind of
Yeah,
comical. And
a hat and all that.
I don't know if you have the hat, bro. I don't know if that means you're sheriff material just because you have the hat, Tyreek. However, I wish he would say, acknowledge that he could have handled the situation better.
He
Although he wasn't, although he
he
wasn't
has,
the
he
escalator.
actually has done that in recent days after that. He actually did
Okay.
come through and say that.
Um, if he does that, I'm fine with everything else, the lawsuit, the wanting the guy to be fired, etc. But you have to acknowledge that you weren't first and foremost cooperative, because we're taught as African Americans to drive like you got to cooperate. So the situation doesn't. You got to do your part not to escalate the situation. Outside of all, the cops were overzealous. The cops were, way too aggressive, way too out of line, way just out of control, just out of control. From talking to Calais Campbell to John U. Smith, that conversation was just way out of control, dude. Like it was just way out of control. Um, and it's you give somebody a badge, and then they feel emboldened to act like this. And so yes, I agree. Um, what I don't like is office duty or the desk duty, and they're still on the clock. Like that's kind of perturbing. Like you're still able to make money, even though, I mean, you get the gravy job now. You still have to make money. They shouldn't be. They should be on suspension with no pay, for incidents like that. Now the compartmentalized Cleveland, I have an issue with that. I disagree with his ability to compartmentalize, as you say, because that's his job. That's what he's going. That's what he woke up in the morning to do, is get out there and ball out. When situations like this isn't the first time he's had crisis in his life. A lot of these guys, this isn't the first time they've had some incidents of crisis, wherever it may be. I wish Deshaun Watson, to your point, could compartmentalize a little bit better. However, this isn't the first time they have crisis in their life. So I think overcoming and having that resilient mindset, kind of, I don't want to say comes with the territory, but it becomes a part of your makeup, and so that allows you then to perform on the field. Do you understand what I'm saying? Or do you agree or disagree?
I disagree to a certain extent, because I understand the compartmentalizing if like it kind of happens like before you're ready for it, but this is like a couple of hours before the game. I mean, they're literally cuffing him, throwing him on the ground. He's saying something's wrong with his knee. They're just throwing him on the ground, and I mean it's a lot to kind of like, damn, did I just get like harassed by the police on the way to the stadium? I mean, you can imagine how that kind of works with your mind, right? Like, I'm Tyreek Hill, like, the number one player in the NFL. I make $30 million a year, and I'm still,
You're still Tyreek Hill.
It's like, okay, so like just throw all that away and just go and ball.
Yeah.
It's like, it's also, you just gonna have to put it all behind you and like, make it seem like it's not that big of a deal, and I'll deal with it after the game. And, for everybody, it's different. I mean, obviously, part of another thing that was going on with this, right, is that Tyreek Hill is not a sympathetic figure, right? There's just so much like baggage with him that like you have to
from
like get
from the
past
children, from
like
the
almost
issue with his son years ago
like who
to
cares?
the
Like, you've been
poor
you got
wife.
so
Yeah.
hurt, that like we don't really care. But at the same time, none of that was right.
No, no, no. And if I didn't make it clear, if I didn't make it clear enough, those cops was completely out of line, out of control, and I don't. The one cop specifically, and I don't agree with the death duty. I think that's. I don't agree with that at all.
They always
Uh,
get that, Cam. I mean,
yeah,
that's
I know it's par for the course. I agree, but I'm just saying I don't agree with that at any standpoint. I did like after the game, he said, "What if I wasn't Tyreek Hill?" Because that could be anybody. What if he wasn't a star? Um, so he did get out there and do his thing. Um, he helped make Tua look good. Tua led the league in passing this week, based on the 80-yard touchdown that he scored. That was a good comeback win for the Dolphins. I'm not sure how you see it, how much you watched that game, how much you paid attention, but through the third quarter, the Jaguars were the better team. It wasn't until your guy ETN try to sashay into the end zone and got the ball punched out from out of his arms. The Dolphins recovered on the very next play. Tyreek Hill goes for 80 yards. It's a tie ball game. It wasn't until that play that game turned around because the Dolphins elevated and the Jaguars kind of didn't know how to handle themselves after that. Had they scored, had ETN scored, they would have went up. I think,
24-7.
yeah. So it would have been a different. It would have been definitely a different game there. So I'm not. Tua had a good game. Most of it was on that one play that the game changing. That was a game changing play. They did a lot of running though. They a lot more running. HN was a bigger part of the offense than I anticipated. Mostert was okay. I was more impressed again. The game changed on that one play by their center, or excuse me, by their safety. So good work out of them guys. What was your thoughts on the Dolphins and how the Jaguars played?
Considering that the Dolphins kicker missed a field goal that could have changed the complexion of the game as well, and then came back and hit the game winner. The one thing that I will say is that I think this weekend I saw more of those Peanut Tillman punches than I don't want to say like ever, but like in the same week, I just saw like over and over, like maybe 5 or 6 times at critical times. It's like it is so like dialed in by those DBs these days, man. It's almost like they just know like a sharp right hand, like they just know like when to punch it, and like when you're
but
like,
that's easier than tackling somebody.
man.
That's easier than tackling somebody. So if we can, you want the ball.
It's clearly no, it's not even remotely close to as easy as tackling somebody. Somebody is
You don't
your
think so?
whole body. No. You're tackling
so?
someone's whole body. Adverse punching the football with somebody moving at a great speed. That's not nearly. I mean, tackling is way easier to do.
I don't know. I don't know. We got to put it. We're gonna have to put a poll out on the fans. Fans, is it easier to tackle somebody or to punch the ball out?
Physics. I mean, if you're 6'3", 240 pounds, and you're running straight at somebody, is that easier to stand in their way and put your arms around them, or punch like an oblong shaped ball in their arm, moving around?
Okay, Cleveland. So when you said you seen this play happen multiple times over this weekend,
more in 1 week than I have seen in any other previous week.
Sure. So when you see it happening, it's usually somebody running down the field and somebody chasing that person, right? Most times, right?
Right. So that's not easier to do than tackling someone.
Here why I say it's easier. We don't see it was years ago they would punch the ball out from behind, right? They would punch the ball out because the guys is running and he's gonna pull it back, and the ball's there to be punched out. So they were punching out from behind. What we're seeing nowadays, and what Pete Tillman did and made popular, was punching it out like here from the guy carrying it, right? So excuse me. Well, when the guy's carrying the ball, the guy is wrapping their arm. They're wrapping their arm around the person and punching at the ball. And that's why I say it's easier than actually grabbing that guy and physically dragging them down to the ground. If they can just kind of dive and swipe at that ball, that's much easier than tackling somebody. It's much easier. I mean, obviously your timing. I mean, it's an art to it because your timing has to be right on point. You have to be timing, but you're already reaching for that guy anyway. And if you just get that ball right there, boom, I think it's a little easier, in my opinion. In my opinion, but there is some timing involved with it. To your point, to make it a little bit more challenging, you have to be kind of right on time. Dak Prescott gets paid. He gets his $60 million. When have we seen the player get their extension hours before the game? We had a weird situation with.
Why is that even a good idea? I mean, like, hey, man,
Cowboys.
Congratulations. We're just give you $250 million, like 2 hours for the game? Nah, man. Wait till after.
Wait till after the game?
Wait till after the game.
I mean, since you waited this long, if you weren't going to do it last month, if you weren't going to do it last month, I mean, do it on the way home. I'm not. I'm not mad
like in the middle of breakfast. I mean, can I? Hey, in the middle of eggs Benedict. Wait, hold on. Dad, can we talk real quick? Oh, congratulations!
The agent called him.
Congratulations, $250 million. Like, no.
I mean, what? That doesn't give you a boost of confidence that all this is getting dropped in your bank account right now?
Changes your emotions dramatically. Again, you want everybody to be robots out here? No, man.
No. I mean, the Cowboys are weird.
$230 million guaranteed, 2 hours for the game. Yeah, your brain is all over the place. Do that after the game.
Yeah. Well, Dak says he doesn't play for the money, so maybe for most players it'll be their emotions and they're thinking about all kind of different stuff.
It was just the principle, huh? It was just the principalities.
That's what Dak says. He doesn't play for the money. He made that clear.
No, do that after the game. I was worried before the
game. Obviously a modest win. Deshaun Watson. I think the story of this game is Deshaun Watson. Outside of that getting paid, your guy actually stood. Podcast Parsons. He actually stood up and showed up in that game. But was that? I think the story of that game was Deshaun Watson, man, and how precipitous his fall has been. This guy, oh my goodness. The Browns are gonna. We talked about this in what Eric say. The best predictor of past performance is future past of the future is past performance, and he didn't see him recovering himself. And I mean, I'm tending to agree with him because he didn't play. Your guy, Podcast Parsons, 3 solo tackles, 1 assisted, 1 sack. 5 tackle for 5 yards lost was 5. Pass deflected 1, but he was causing some havoc, as was the rest of the Cowboys. And the stat was a weird stat that over half of their plays were for negative yardage, for minus yardage. The Browns had, and that means they can't run the ball. There's no respect to the running game, obviously, because Nick Chubb isn't there. There's no respect to their passing game because the quarterback can't get it done. Do you make a change? How long do you ride with Deshaun Watson? How many games do you give him to show you that he is who he is or that he's getting better?
You give him 3 weeks, and if it doesn't change, you got to go to Jameis. And you have to always understand that you have to keep him on the payroll. It's just too much of a hit to the salary cap.
Yeah, he's going to be there.
And so whoever the number 2 quarterback is actually the de facto number 1. And Deshaun Watson's just sitting over there until this, horrible nightmare is over.
2 more years in that with this year and another year for that contract. That my goodness, I think I was screaming for this cat. I I kind of feel bad for him in a sense because you talking about compartmentalize. Is it he can't compartmentalize, or is he just not that good? Which one do you think it is?
It's the fall from grace. It's the pulling back the curtain. It's the exposure of all of these horrible things. I mean, realize he had to settle like what was it, 26, 27 cases,
And another one just popped up. Yeah,
another one just popped up, and that's just the ones that he had to settle. I mean, there's all kinds of other ones sitting around. I mean, he's serial about this, man. So it's just he can't shake that, Part
but
of
if
it.
you talk about compartmentalize, he
think
apparently cannot do it
no,
because
he can't do it. But I mean, his whole image has been tarnished for quite some time, right? Which was squeaky clean before all of this. And then I do think there is some like serious structural damage to his shoulder. I just don't think it's ever really been healthy like in the last year. I remember we went to the
you told me about you told us the story.
yeah the Seattle Cleveland game, and I don't think it's ever really fully healed, and his confidence is shot, and nobody likes him, and he doesn't have any support, and
You don't think he had no friends in the locker room? You
no.
don't think? Well, you didn't hesitate. You don't think there's nobody? Miles Garrett is like, come on, dude. Let's what do you need to get
No.
right?
I think they tried that, and I mean this last game where he was just throwing the ball just errantly all over the place, looking like Jake Locker out there. Like, wow.
Ooh. The one there was a one tweet, and it said it said Deshaun Watson connects on a 44-yard pass to CD Lamb. And you saw him throwing 12 yards out of bounds.
Eloquently.
I was like, first I was thinking like, okay, he connects with CD Lamb. Like, what is this? It wasn't an interception, but he just throws it 8 yards out of bounds. It was like, ooh, man, I kind of feel bad for Deshaun. I kind of feel bad for him. Talking about feeling bad for somebody, Packers lose Jordan Love for it looks like 4 to 6 weeks with the ML sprain. The Rams put Puka Nacua, my number 2 fantasy receiver, puts him on IR, so that means he's going to miss 4 weeks immediately. The Panthers, Derek Brown potentially out for the season with a knee issue. Which loss is worse?
Puka Nacua.
Worse than Jordan Love?
Yeah, I mean the NFC is not that stout, so I think that they can kind of recover. I think that the Rams kind of
you think Willis is going to win some games for the Packers?
No, not necessarily, but I mean I think that Puka Nacua, given the Rams' propensity for throwing the ball, is a little bit more important than the other thing.
Then the quarterback of the I had the Packers winning. I had the Packers winning or coming in second place.
Yeah, coming in second, and
so this gives you guys a chance. We're going to get to talk about your quarterback here in a minute, but this gives you guys a chance to sneak into that second place level because the Packers obviously are going to get off to a rocky start without their number 1 quarterback, right?
For sure.
So this is what you were counting on. This is how Caleb sneaks into contention for the NFC North.
No, I was actually not counting on Jordan Love missing 4 weeks.
Well, the way Caleb Williams, he's going to need to looked on Sunday. He's going to need somebody to fall off the face of this earth for them guys to have any. Now their defense plays super. But Caleb Williams is going to need somebody to not look so good for him to. I mean, I'm in good position. I'm in a good position for my rookie of the year contact position. The way that guy looked on Sunday. What excuse you want to give Caleb Williams for the way he looks?
No excuses, no explanations. Like Coach Tomlin always says, he did not look good.
We're going to talk about him too.
He did not look good. He looked horrible. Yeah,
but you know excuses. You got to explain to why you just gonna say he's a rookie quarterback. Is that what you're gonna give us? Why he looks so shabby?
Well, first and foremost, your Hall of Fame receiver dropped several touchdowns. I don't know if you saw the game, but he looked old and decrepit.
Old and decrepit, he says.
He needs some get right now.
Old and decrepit, he says. Oh my goodness gracious!
He looked like he was 66 years old out there trying to play a young man's game. So that's first and foremost.
Got one TD pass. Come on, the other ones were airmailed over his head.
You dropped two. That you tried to reach out for, and you didn't see him grab for his hamstring.
Oh, I saw him grab for his hamstring, yeah, and hobble to the sideline. I saw that. I was looking on the depth chart of the injury report for him to show up with the hamstring pull, his annual hamstring pull.
His annual. You see what I'm saying? Annual hamstring pull.
And I was expecting him to be out for 6
weeks.
It didn't say that.
So okay, that's first and foremost. Secondly,
how you go? First and foremost, you gonna go to Keenan Allen? That you was more. Oh, fans, I don't have my laugh track. I laugh him off the show right now. I don't have my laugh track.
Secondly,
maybe next week, fans, Cleveland invite me over so we can do the show together. I've been waiting for the invite. Cleveland been ignoring my Texas fans. He don't want to hook up and watch the games with me, and I figured out why. Because he didn't want to sit down and watch that game with Caleb with me, because he wouldn't have been able to do a show on Wednesday night if he was sitting next to me watching the Bears play. Who were they playing? Some bunch of bums too. Watching the Bears play. Come on, go. What else? What other excuse you got for the bums? The Titans. The Titans were in full control of that game too until third quarter when the guy picked it off and ran it back for the end zone or for the touchdown and gave him the lead. The Titans were in full control of that game. Will Levis was doing his thing out there right up until. What other excuse you got other than Caleb?
Secondly,
the
speed of
the game. Fans, he don't want to hear nothing I have to say. He don't want to hear nothing I have to say about Caleb. He's not listening.
The speed of the game was different than he was anticipating, and it was all that vanilla defense.
Oh,
he was not trusting his eyes.
Oh, do you think if he played more preseason games, he would have got more better adept? That doesn't make a difference.
Those are the things that kind of attributed to his poor performance, but fortunately, like you said, defense and special teams bailed him out.
Bailed him out big time. I'm glad you admitted that they bailed him out, because that's exactly what happened. I wonder if the Texans this week will the Bears defense against the Texans will bail him out. What you think?
No.
Okay.
It is a Super Bowl preview.
But come on. See, fans. I need my laugh track. It's
a Super Bowl preview, but
Cleveland.
It's going to be one-sided. It's going to be lopsided.
You don't believe the Super Bowl preview. Get out of here.
It's got to work out a few of the kinks, and they'll be right back on schedule.
Jaden Daniels. What'd you see at Jaden Daniels? What you like from him? Were you able to see any of that?
He's very mobile, which is a good thing because that team is not very good. So,
I mean, you go from touchdown Terry McLaurin, scoring McLaurin, to all of a sudden no good. As soon as he shows up, there he has nobody on the team. What happened with you and Terry?
I mean, he's cool.
You sure? I mean, you sure? I think something may have happened to me.
He needs to be in a different offense. I think if he was in the Chiefs offense or the Dolphins offense, sure, he would be a star. But
so Jaden Daniels, his ability to move in the pocket, He did have the most yards passing out of any rookie quarterback this last week.
Mm-hmm.
His ability to move in the pocket doesn't do anything for you. Okay, and then Bo Nix, you know, if he wasn't on the road uh, playing in Soto, he might have been able to pull a game out. But he was playing against now. Now here we go, fans. Last week, Cleveland had zero respect for this defense. In fact, I would say for all preseason, he had zero respect for this defense. And even when our NFL friend of the show, NFL writer for Fox Sports, pointed out that there may be um, signs and sense of that. What do they call a Legion of Doom defense? Legion of Boom defense. Cleveland laughed. He didn't have a laugh track. He almost laughed Eric off the show. Now, what do you have to say for yourself, Cleveland?
This defense is quite formidable. It was by far the best unit of the Seahawks on the field. Yeah, I'm quite optimistic about what it is they can do going forward.
Even though they played a rookie in Bo Nix?
Yeah. They
So
were just
no,
they were just always in position. It was quite crazy to see. Haven't seen that in several years. They were where they were supposed to be, and the blitzes that they were showing them. Of all the rookie quarterbacks, I think that Bo Nix saw the most confusion, and probably got the most exposed, because when he really tries to stretch the ball down the field, he just stares down his receivers, and it's like he can't throw the ball more than 10 yards. So what was he, like 2 for 13, 2 picks? You throwing the ball more than 15 yards? It was like, yeah.
well, yeah, he's a check down, Charlie.
You can read fast, okay? So it's check down real fast. But, like, no. Well, you really got to do something, and, Witherspoon's coming off on the blitz, or, Byron Murphy's collapsing the pocket. Cat Williams is getting out in space. Yeah. This is not preseason anymore.
Listen to him. He was real happy with the way the Seahawks is doing. Do you want to give any love to your quarterback, Geno Smith?
He had that one run. It was good. Good job. Saw the opening and ran straight and ran fast. That's kind of what we expect from you, Geno. Good job.
What a backhanded compliment. They watch the show.
Good.
Maybe that's why I can't get through to Julie. Because the way you treat your treatment of Geno. Maybe that's why I can't get through to Julie. I mean, you don't have anything nice to say about Geno at all?
I just said it. What more you want me to say?
He moved the offense. He was in control of the team.
The opening, he ran straight, he ran fast. Good job.
I mean, the man did have a QBR of what, 87.3. I mean, that's pretty good. That's way above average. 72% completion ratings, a touchdown. I mean, that's pretty good. He had the one pick at the beginning of the game. Other than that, the one mistake he made early, I mean, he showed up. But it hurts you to say anything. It hurts you to say anything about this guy, don't it?
Ran fast and ran good. Good job. Get in the end zone.
So we had the Kevin Durant toe on the line against the Milwaukee Bucks, preventing them from going to the championship game, NBA championship. Or was that to the Eastern Conference Finals? Maybe it was the Eastern.
That was to the championship.
And now we have Isaiah Likely toe on the line, trying to upset the defending champions' bid for a three-peat. Did the game come down to that? Should the Ravens have been there? I think I asked you this question. Should the Ravens be encouraged or discouraged by the play of that game?
Oh, they should be encouraged by the play of that game.
Encouraged.
for sure.
So the fact that your guy, Derrick Henry, um, carried the ball 13 times in that game, I think it was, and looked like just a glorified short yardage back. Should he be encouraged or discouraged by signing with the Baltimore Ravens this year?
He should be encouraged by that.
Why? Explain yourself.
He has a legitimate chance to go to the Super Bowl. You see what this team can do. They went toe to toe with the Super Bowl champions. And like you say, 6 inches here or there, it's a much different game. I'm not 100% sure they used Derrick Henry as effectively as they could have. And in addition, I think those guys were definitely keying on him to try and make Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens offense do something a little bit different.
They were forcing Lamar to run the ball, is what you're saying.
Huh.
Interesting.
Which opens up a lot of holes, if you notice, which is why Likely was open all the time and like Zay was open all the time. It's like, okay, well, if you're going to commit that many to stopping Derrick Henry, I mean, still Lamar, still those other guys out there. So, hey, man.
I'm gonna need Lamar. I'm gonna need Lamar to be more effective in his passing game. Because as you mentioned, there are guys.
Come on now, Cam. I mean, are you still on that?
I'm gonna need him to be a little more effective. Is that?
You gotta let that go, man.
What do you mean? Oh, he's not gonna be effective? Is that what you're telling me?
Not gonna be that, no.
So I can't expect him to be better than 63% completion percentage. Is that what you're telling me? Wow. So Geno Smith is going to be more effective passer in the NFL than Lamar Jackson. Are you ready to admit that? Are you ready to admit that?
Maybe statistically speaking, but I mean, what does that mean?
I mean, there's a big difference in 63% and 70%.
The Seattle quarterback throws a better pass than Lamar Jackson.
Oh, you see, fans, how backhanded that was. What did you say? The Seattle quarterback. Oh my goodness, you got to be ashamed of yourself. Again, Julie, don't listen to him. That's not me, Julie. That's not me. You don't. It is what it is. It's not going to get better than this in what, 8 years, 2 MVP championships, nope. 2 MVP trophies?
Nope.
I can only expect 65% passing from this guy. That might be the reason they don't win a championship. It may come down to that.
Could be. That's what's happened the last couple of times. Last year, you tried to throw too much, didn't run enough. Year before that, or 2 years before that, because he wasn't healthy. Yeah.
That might be the reason. Right. And we can't get better than 65%, Cleveland. I don't know. Come on, we in trouble. Derrick Henry ain't gonna help you.
No, they do. They do a lot of things well, Cameron.
Play awesome defense. You don't
play great defense. They play, Justin Tucker. They play great special teams. They run the ball well. And, Lamar's going to get those opportunities to hit some open receivers, but he's not going to pick you apart with his arm.
He's 64, if he's 65%.
He's never going to pick you apart down the field with his arm. That is never going to happen.
With Rashad Bateman out there.
You see the way he throws?
With Zay Flowers out there. With Mark Andrews out there. With Isaiah Likely showing up.
I am not talking bad about our dude, man. But you see the way
your guy, actually, your guy.
Okay, excuse me, the MVP of the league.
Oh, here we go.
I'm not talking bad about the MVP of the league.
But you're saying that the best we can get is 64% passing completion percentage. That's what you're saying. You're saying the best we can get from the MVP is 64. I mean, I might have to go do some history and see has there been a worse passer to win the MVP.
Lamar Jackson throw the football. He's not throwing it through any tight windows. He's not putting any extra super touch on the ball. He's just getting by.
Oh,
it looks like a shot put every time it comes out of his hand.
Oh,
it doesn't really. Like an accurate throw. But he is the MVP of the league.
You're cold.
All that being said,
Oh my goodness. I want to know, has there been a worse? I'm trying to look up. Has there been a worse passer, um, most valuable player in the league?
oh man, you have to look that up.
I mean, I'm just saying. Well, how bad are these guys? Is this how bad is this? Is this historically bad, or is this just below average? That's what I want to know. What's your say before we find it? And fans, there's a poll out here.
It's
Is
not
there's
historically
a,
bad. No.
there's
When
a
is
poll. There's a
that?
poll on the table, fans. Is it easier to tackle a player or swipe the ball away? Need your quote.
Punch
To punch the ball away.
ball away.
That's a poll on the board. Is it easier to punch the ball away or to tackle a player? We're gonna look that up later. Lions run through the Rams. Were you impressed with the Lions win? Oh, not so much. Not so much, he says.
Kind of a good win. I mean, like again,
Kind of a good win.
Puka got hurt. I never really felt like the Lions like established some, presence of authority until overtime when they just, ran the ball down the field.
When did you want to see it? They showed it when they needed to.
The other 4 quarters of the game. Did they do that the whole other time of the game? They just ran the ball down the field.
The Rams couldn't stop them, though. I mean, it's not like Aaron Donald were out there, but the Rams couldn't stop the Rams couldn't stop them. I thought I actually picked the Lions in that game, but I picked Stafford to go home, and I kind of upset them. But the Lions came out and played good ball. I mean, they played good ball, getting the ball to their running back. Both running backs played good. Didn't throw any dumb passes. Jared Goff didn't throw any dumb passes. And there's the stat.
Yeah, I like that running back by committee. No one gets too many touches. Nobody gets overly used or exposed, or what I'm saying. It's a good.
And Williams Williams showed up big. Williams, the big play player, big play receiver, and your boy didn't even have a big game. St. Brown, Amon-Ra St. Brown didn't even have a big game. He didn't have a $30 million receiver type game. But again, maybe they were keying on him, and that opened it up for Williams. But I thought the Rams, I thought the Lions played solid ball. Puka getting hurt did impact those guys. But if you're relying on Stafford to throw it to Cooper and Puka, like you're expecting them to just kill you down the stretch, I mean, that's only going to beat so many teams. That's only going to beat the AFC or NFC West teams. That's not going to beat contenders. In my opinion, I don't think so. I didn't have them going that far. So I thought it was. I'm surprised I didn't pick the Lions, but I did pick the Rams as according to the stat sheet, unless somebody's doing some funny stuff. And I don't know if that's happening, but I was kind of surprised by that win. And in overtime, we saw the dominant team win. We saw how the dominant team played things out. But fans, I think everybody came to the show tonight, Cleavon, to hear you praise Brock Purdy. You have no choice but to praise Brock Purdy tonight, because last year or 2 years ago, it was he's a rookie, and how long could this last? Last year, he can't win without Christian Jackson McCaffrey, the league's MVP. He couldn't win without that guy. He can't win without Trent Williams. He can't win without Deebo Samuels. So you take away the league's most valuable player, right? You took that guy off the field. Take that chess piece off the field, and Brock Purdy goes out there and leads the 49ers to a dominant victory over your New York Jets. You and Robert Saleh, I know you guys is like this. Did you text him after the game? Some condolences? Did you get any kind of clarification of what went on? So you
Yeah,
talk about the defense is the defense is this, the defense is the best generational defense. This generational defense. I told you that they were trash. I told you they don't trash that team. I told you before that team 3 weeks ago. I told you that team does not make the NFL playoffs. I told you guys that. With that quarterback that you got, I told you this team does not make the NFL playoffs. What's your excuse for the Jets now?
Yeah, Cam, like you're saying, we spoke about it, and it really what it came down to is the initial game plan was predicated around stopping, Christian Jackson McCaffrey, and once they realized that they had a different running style to deal with,
Where's my laugh track,
it took a
fans?
little
Where's my
bit
laugh track?
to
Where's my
adjust.
laugh track?
Was that
Now you say when the big guy isn't there, the team.
Now that being said, they certainly have their opportunities to stay in the game and do certain things. But no, their scheme was predicated around stopping Christian McCaffrey. And so once they had a different back in there that was a different style runner, I mean, credit to Coach Shanahan for using him wisely, but it was a little bit different situation.
Are you gonna now? I want to know because this running back, undrafted running back.
Mm-hmm.
First, let me back up before I get to the undrafted running back. Your New York Jets gave up points on 8 consecutive drives. I can't blame Aaron Rodgers for that. I cannot blame Aaron Rodgers for that. As much as I think he's not going to be a factor in them winning games this season, that was your defense.
A lot of short fields, a lot of field goals. A lot of short fields, a lot of field goals.
So no reason for despair for this team. Is that where we're going?
Well, I mean, they're playing someone that could potentially be a Super Bowl representative for the NFC. So we're gonna take some.
So the distance that far, that's how far they are from being a Super Bowl team, beating a Super Bowl caliber team. In fact, your guy admitted as such. He said that's a championship outfit over there.
It's just the first game of the season, Cameron. I mean, you see where the bar is right now, but we'll see where it is in Week 18. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Is Christian going to be healthy? I mean, is number 24 going to continue to run the ball in the way that he?
He can't even call the guy. He won't even call the guy by his name. Number 24. That's how you do him. So I'm waiting for you to tell me now, because we know what you think of Papa Shanahan and his offense. You think that was just a system offense, and any back can get in there. And when I mentioned that to a certain Hall of Famer, how his eyes just kind of lit up and just start beaming red. I was like, "Yo, hey, don't get mad at me. I'm just revealing or sharing what somebody thought of you were, that you were a system back. So you called a Hall of Fame running back a system running back. Are you ready to call Christian McCaffrey a system player?"
Cam, I am so glad that you brought this up, and you brought up the similarities and the misnomer that you gave Terrell Davis, which set his eyes glowing red. What I said was, and I will say the same thing for his son, the predecessor.
Oh boy, here we go. Here we go.
So arrogant that he thinks you can just plug anyone into your running system and it will be successful because it's my running system. That's what I was saying. I never said.
I'm not sure that's
how. Never said Terrell Davis was a system running back. I said that the coach thinks that you can just plug anyone into the system and it will be successwait. Now imagine how Kyle Shanahan's head has grown now that he's plugged number 24.
Wait. What's dude's name? What's dude's name? You can't even call him by his name?
He feels like
ran all over you. After you ran all over your team, you can't even call dude by his name?
Like, oh, well, I mean, if you're running behind my scheme, behind this offensive line, I mean, it doesn't matter who's running the ball. Next man up. And then you'll get to the playoffs and you realize, you know what? Actually, we kind of need someone like a Christian McCaffrey. And number 24 might not quite be enough.
So after he ran all over your team, you're not even going to get a man the respect to call him by his name? Is that what we're doing here? You refuse to call you refuse to call Mr. Mason by his name. You should be calling him Mr. Mason. That's really what you should be calling him. But you're gonna go to 24, the number 24. You
He
just
wears number
refuse to
24, right? The dude you're talking about wears number 24.
see what I was saying, fans. This was hysterical. Where's my laugh track? He ran all over. It was 150 yards that he had
I
out of nowhere.
don't recall the exact yardage number, but
Yeah, I know you. I know you want to forget about it. That's the kind of game you just want to burn the tape. Burn the tape.
I mean, no, use it, cut it up, chop it up, learn from it.
So you don't want to. So you don't want to give Shanahan any credit for his offense because you think it's all arrogance that he's playing with. Do you want to give the defense any credit, or you just totally ignore Brock Purdy? You just totally ignore Brock Purdy and what he was able to do on the field.
Defense played great. They had Brees Hall in a straitjacket the whole game.
Does Brock Purdy, the quarterback, I'll accept you saying the quarterback. That other title that you have for him, you have to throw that aside now. You have to throw the what is Brock Purdy? What is Brock Purdy is like 32-3 by now? You're gonna have to respect this guy. You're gonna have to put some respect on this kid's name.
32-3, Cameron. So
what is his record? He hasn't lost more than 3 games. Oh, excuse me. He lost 3 games when he lost to the Cavaliers, to the Browns, the Vikings, and who else? What is his record? What is his record over 3 seasons? 30-5.
This is his 3rd season.
What is his record? My question is, what is his record?
What was it, 8-0 the first time, 12, like 21. How do you get to 32? Good Lord. Slow down on your number 13 pride, man. It's not all
my pride.
He's won 21 games, man. Good for him. He's done well for himself.
Oh my goodness. He's done well for himself. You're cold, man. You're a cold one. Do you want to give him any credit though for the win? Do you want to give him any credit? What about the are you going to blame the Jets defense? What do you have to say about Aaron Rodgers?
It was great the way that he checked down to his personnel. He hit the fullback out of the backfield that one time, Kittle. Chopped him up. Debo running the ball. I mean, the sweep. You saw the same plays. The jet sweeps. He's really good at running this offense.
Shame on you, man. Shame on you. What's your thoughts? What do you think about Aaron Rodgers?
He's got some rust to shake off. I like his chemistry with Garrett. That's gonna work out.
It's just rust. That's all you got is just a little rust. The one touchdown pass he threw was on the fluke. Free play where the defense jumps off sides, and they just let the receiver run down the middle of the field. They scored a touchdown. There's a one touchdown he has.
Little rust.
Little rust, he says.
I was a little concerned that they were running a lot of plays so that he didn't have to really be in the game. It was a little bit too much protection. I didn't really like that. He's got to be out there. I mean, he's playing quarterback, so you just can't just keep him in a plastic bubble and
Is Salah on the hot seat, Cleveland? After this loss, is Salah on the hot seat?
No, not after this loss. I mean, we'll see what happens week 6, 7. It's getting, yeah, he's sitting on the seat. They haven't turned the eye on. But
they haven't turned the eye on, but he's firmly on the seat.
Firmly on the seat, yeah.
This is more than we heard. I mean, I guess that's some objectivity there. Your guy, Anthony Peterson, ordered to turn over assets to pay his $12 million debt off, stemming from Cleveland. He borrowed $5.2 million in 2016. That loan has grown to 8.3 due to interest. What's up with your boy?
No one ever said Adrian Peterson had a tremendous business acumen. Nobody ever said that Adrian Peterson was the best disciplinarian of his children. What they did say is he ran the hell out of the football. I will just leave it at that. I don't know how he handles his financial situations, but yeah, it's come to a close.
The $100 million birthday party didn't help him, huh?
Yeah, I mean, no, again, not necessarily the best, financial analyst, if you will.
Wow. Um, Cleveland, my most impressive win this weekend was the Chiefs over the Ravens. Um, I thought the Eagles over the Packers was a good win. And I have to go with the Dolphins. I'm not trying to be a homer, but I have to go with the Dolphins over the Jaguar. Like, they showed some mettle and being able to rebound when the game was clearly in the Jacksonville Jaguars' hand. They was able to rebound in that game. What was your most impressive win of this weekend?
It was the Patriots over the Bengals.
Ooh. I have the Patriots. The Bengals lost to the Patriots as one of the worst losses of the weekend. I reversed it on you, but I can see why you would say that was a best win. That was the best win overall.
Oh yeah, without question. I mean, I have some friends that playing that Survivor stuff, which I refuse to do after doing that one time.
Ooh, and they got out. They're all out.
Where? I was talking to those guys. Yeah,
Ooh, they're out. Ooh,
exactly why I don't do that.
Ooh.
And both of those people that we were talking to, they both lost.
Oh, and they're pissed. Oh,
Yeah.
That's funny. Um, okay, I have the Giants lost to the Vikings. Just, I mean, the Giants. What makes this even kind of not doubly bad, that's not even a phrase, but what makes this worse is the Giants' appearance on Hard Knocks. Now I know that was off season. I tried to convince you to watch it. I don't think you tuned in. You didn't tune in, did you?
Well, no, I mean that part went so viral. Of course, I saw that part where they were talking to Saquon, and it was like, yeah, there was. It felt like funny business even then, and now it looks even that much more.
The whole front office looks like buffoons.
Yeah.
Like, literally, Cleveland. Literally, I can get in there and make those mistakes that they were making, like, without question. Without question, I can sit down and this is when you have to. You see, you always get on me about trying to say, "Well, just go put my arm around the guy and talk to him and try to be pals with them and say, hey, man, you really don't want to leave New York. You really don't want to go somewhere else. Like, stay here. Let's work out a deal. What is it you want? Do you need you want us to redo your driveway? I mean, you need a big S in your driveway?
You must be trying to give them like services to like compensate for the money. Like, no, man, I want my money.
Well, I would have paid him. The owner said, I would hate for him to go to the Eagles. The owner said that verbatim in the show, Hard Knocks. I would hate for him to go to the Eagles. And what does dumb dude do? Hey, Saquon, we're not going to offer you a deal, but we want you to go test the market. Go test the market, man, and see what it's like. Come back and talk to us. Just promise me you'll give me your word that you'll come back and talk to us. What the hell are you talking about, dude? Like,
apparently that's how the New York Giants negotiate. That's that's how they get down.
Has this dude ever dated any girl in his life and just thought, just go to Miami for the weekend and come back and holler at me? Like, and just to see if you just want to go see what it's like. That's not working, clown. Again, I'm convinced that watching those episodes convinced me, fans, that I literally could be a GM in the NFL if that's how they're making decisions. And not only did they have the worst uniforms I've ever seen, like I didn't even know what those was. I hadn't even seen those uniforms. Not only did it open the season with that trash on, they get blown out to the Vikings and Sam Darnold. They have Sam Darnold looking like
Dan Marino.
At one point, Sam Darnold going in the halftime thing with 13 for 15. John, what is going on here? Like, oh my goodness. Like, they can't last half a season, man. They can't. I'm wondering when the chopping blocks will fall on those clowns. Because man, that was the worst loss of the weekend. The Panthers losing to the Saints.
It really wasn't. The worst loss of the weekend was Jacksonville losing to Miami Dolphins.
No.
It certainly was. Because again, like we just mentioned, it was 17-7.
Yeah.
Okay. You got the Peanut Tillman punch out. Would have been 24-7. The Dolphins missed a field goal. And then on the play after the punch out, you let Tyreek get loose for 80 yards. He was already, like we said, a little bit out of sorts about getting harassed by the police hours before the game. And then you let the kicker get 50 yards.
But Cleveland, should they even have been in that situation?
That's why it's such a bad loss, Cam.
Fair
I'm saying. It was 17-7. It would have been 24-7. He gets the ball punched out. Very next play, they score an 80-yard touchdown, and then they let the game get out of hand.
What about the Panthers letting the Saints run up 47 points on them?
That's the second worst one, because I don't know why I was believing this. Like, everyone's like, oh, this new coach has been talking to Bryce, and he's a better person. He's in a better place. He's got – I was doing – and you saw I drafted Deontay Johnson in fantasy football. I dropped that dude. I don't want any Panthers on my team. Man, that bad juju, no. Nowhere around me. That was horrible.
And the Saints, I mean, I think nobody would say that the Saints are world beaters at all. But they put a 47 on them. Like, Carr looked like he had it back. So fans, that every week we'll give you my most impressive wins, my worst losses. Cleveland, feel free to disagree with me, but every week we'll kind of run through that, and just to let you guys see what we're thinking out here. And please feel free to share your feedback. We'll be doing this every week, and we'll be doing this every week, just kind of looking at our pick segment from last week. Cleveland, there's another segment that Cleveland might start tuning out on. You see, he didn't want to talk about Brock Purdy. You see how he didn't want to talk about the running back, as he called him. You see, he didn't want to talk about Geno Smith, the Seattle quarterback, he called him. I'm gonna start calling him my co-host when we look at our pick segment, because Cleveland can't be happy with what's going on here. I had the Chiefs. He had the Ravens. Start the week off 1-0. Okay, we both had the Eagles, the Falcons, and the Steelers. I can't really call that a worse loss, although I did have the Steelers winning this game. And to talk about this game real quick,
you didn't have the Steelers winning this game. You had the Falcons winning.
Oh, excuse me, I had the Falcons winning, but because I didn't expect much from the Steelers. But I have to say this.
That's why you picked the Falcons. Yeah.
Because I didn't expect much from the Steelers.
Okay. So where are you going with this?
Listen to what I'm saying. Russell Wilson must not want to play football. He just might simply not want to play football. I'm not buying the calf injury. I wasn't buying it in week 1 of the preseason. Here are week 1 of the regular season.
He doesn't want to go back to Denver and play against Sean Payton and the Denver Broncos. You're not buying that?
Cleveland, why would you let somebody take your position and give him an opportunity to win a game?
Because his calf is injured. I know you don't believe in an injury. I know you don't believe in it.
I'm not buying it, bro.
I'm
not. Suck it up.
I know.
Put some tussin on it. What Chris Rock say? Put some tussin on it.
And when you got COVID, man, just don't tell nobody, man. Just cover your mouth and run out there. When you got this man, just put some,
So
run out there.
So now, regardless of what Justin Fields does, he's gonna have to give you a Caleb Williams type game before he gets pulled. That's what you're gonna have to see from him.
Russ is healthy enough to play. He's gonna start.
Oh, you think Tomlin's gonna pull Justin Fields after he goes 3-4? You think he's gonna pull him and put Russ in? I don't.
Yeah, they scored 6 field goals.
Hey,
against the Atlanta Falcons.
Did they win the game? You know what your guy's going to say. Did they win the game?
They won the game 18-10, but it wasn't because of stellar quarterback performance.
Hey, your guy is going to say, did they win the game? You know that, Cleveland. Stop playing. You already know that.
He already said that. What you said is that Justin Fields is going to continue to start. And what I said was, not given that performance he just showed.
Man, if they turn around this week, who the Steelers playing this week? They play the Broncos, Cleveland.
Broncos.
So the Steelers, let's just say things play out the same. When they kicker kick 6 field goals, they beat the Broncos 18 to 15,
okay,
18 to 14, whatever happens.
Okay,
that's 2-0.
Yeah,
he's not benching him.
Yeah. Oh yeah. In week 3, Russ, you ready to go? Okay, cool. Let's see what this offense can really do.
Not well.
So far, they wouldn't have scored a touchdown.
Clearly, you know Tomlin better than I do. I don't expect Tomlin to bench him.
Tomlin better than you do.
After he's won 2 games for him.
Yeah.
And he has them 2-0. Why is he going to pull him out? Why would you do that?
Because they would not have scored an offensive touchdown to that point, which they haven't to this season so far.
Okay. Well, that may be the case, that obviously is the case. He's going to give him a chance. He's won games. That's it. It comes down to wins. You think Tomlin cared about winning pretty? Yeah, I don't think Tomlin cares about winning pretty.
I think he cares if you're off
18 and 17
touchdown. Yeah, I think he'll care about that.
If they're down.
No, I think Tomlin is smart enough to know that you're just not going to out field goal everybody every week.
No, not every week, but if you're down 15 to 17, Fields leads them to a game-winning field goal drive.
I'm looking for a starting quarterback to be healthy enough to play.
They're down 15 to 17. Justin Fields leads them to a game-winning field goal drive. That's a W. I don't care what you think. You saying you're expecting Justin Fields to go 28 for 30, 320 yards? No, he's not doing that either. He's W. W is in his book. That's what I anticipate. Nonetheless, let's go on down the list. Steelers upset the Falcons, and we could say that was a bad loss for the Falcons because your boy Kirk Cousins didn't look ready because he hasn't played any real games. The Cardinals and the Bills, like that was a nip and tuck game. I think your boy Josh Allen's gonna get hurt, man. He's just doing too much wild stuff on the field. Like, how is it that Josh Allen can stay healthy, but Anthony Richardson gets hurt? Who's the quarterback that was for RG3 goes down? My guy Andrew Luck gets hurt and retires because of injuries. But this guy, he keeps doing this year after year, just thinking he's He-Man, jumping over folks and leaping, just doing the most. He's going to get injured, man. I see that injury coming. Cam Newton, another guy who just, couldn't survive in the league with this type of play. But Josh Allen keeps doing this week after week, and it doesn't seem like he's getting any more mature, and things aren't changing. How long can he keep this up?
At least through this year and probably next year.
Oh, so you got a timeline on it. You got it ticking out. You got it ticking down.
I mean, eventually, but I mean it is who he is, right? I mean,
yeah.
No one ever, it took him this long to become this accurate, and he's still not particularly accurate. He's got a strong arm and he's athletic. That's what you're gonna get.
Bears out of the Bears obviously beat the Titans as we talked about earlier. Did you see anything out of the Titans that impressed you? Anything out of the Titans specifically? Did Tony Pollard impress you?
Tony Pollard did impress me a little bit. I wasn't expecting. I mean, if he was that productive, he'd still be a Cowboy. Like, why didn't you do that?
No, the Cowboys had no business getting rid of him. The Cowboys had no business getting rid of him. He would have commanded a big dollar figure. And the last time they paid a running back, Zeke fell off the cliff. But they didn't deserve. They shouldn't have got rid of him, in my opinion. We talked about the Patriots and the Bengals. I mean, was that rust from some? We get people talking today about Joe Burrow's overrated, and he's not that good.
Three things with that. There was rust. That offensive line isn't very good, and that defense isn't very good.
So it's 100% on Joe, is what you're saying?
No, I'm not going to blame Joe for that.
No, what I'm saying is 100% on Joe to get them W's in Cincinnati.
Joe and Jamar,
yeah. Okay. Texans and the Colts. That was a nip and tuck game. I mean, I'm not sure that Richardson is going to be any good in the pros, but he got an arm. He got an arm. He threw that touchdown pass 60 yards in the air off his back foot, bro. Like in a game. Like you see that happen in the practice. Like you're odd, but he did it in a game, like in a live game with guys coming at him, just on his back foot, flung it up there, 65 yards in the air on the money. Again, I'm not sure he's going to be any good long term, but that was a heck of a play. What was your thoughts on the game? Did you see what you wanted to see out of CJ and your boy? And you got Diggs. Diggs put some points on the board for you, huh?
Who's that?
I said you got your boy Diggs. He put some points on the board for you, huh?
I mean, it was cool. I mean, I definitely was impressed with Houston's offense. Looked very balanced. Joe Mixon looked very comfortable in it.
He did. I have to say.
Yeah, that's my Super Bowl pick on the AFC. So yeah, they showed me quite a bit going on the road winning that first game.
I mean, we don't do takebacks or we don't do takebacks on the show, fans. He said that that's a Super Bowl pick. I'm gonna let him ride with it. Dolphins and the Jaguars. We talked about that. Dolphins started off 1-0. Saints and the Panthers. We talked about how surprising that was. The Saints start off 1-0. Vikings and the Giants.
Can't see the rest of the picks, Cam. Can you make the screen bigger or scroll down?
Oh, my bad. Man, there's. What can you see? You see the Texans?
I don't know.
The Texans coming.
We're good.
Dolphins, Jags, Saints. We all agreed on these picks. The Chargers. Were you impressed with
the? I was actually very impressed with them. I was glad that J.K. Dobbins, I guess, got some scrap. But even those runs kind of broke away. Did you notice?
He got some light
runs.
Yeah.
No. See, you didn't see the same thing I saw. I saw it away and then couldn't quite get fully away. Yes.
Well, what are we looking at? 2 knee injuries? Two knee surgeries?
So get away and get out and be gone? No. That's over with.
Well, if you can get 15 yards though, if you can get 15 yards,
I'm saying he can get top speed and he can keep going, but no, you cannot maintain.
I mean, that getaway is the 30 yard, 30, 40 yard gains.
The getaway is gone.
Yeah, but if you can get 15 yards, I mean, the Chargers take that. They haven't had a good running game in a while.
They didn't look good. I'm so sorry.
You say didn't look good. I mean,
they beat the Raiders 22-10 with their quarterback number 15 running things. It wasn't good.
Who's number 15?
I don't remember. It's where it's number 15 for the second back.
We talked about the Seahawks, and all of a sudden you got the Seahawks as having a Super Bowl defense. All of a sudden, we talked about let's talk about why you picked the Browns. Let's explain that.
Because I was very uncertain with regards to what the Cowboys were going to be bringing in, and I thought Deshaun Watson had a little bit more. I thought that defense would be a little bit more formidable, and I thought the Cowboys would struggle on the road. None of those things happened.
Yeah, none of them happened. Yeah, you're right. The Commanders and the Bucks. Baker. Baker looks good in Tampa.
He
Baker,
likes the weather.
he likes the weather, the water, something. Baker feels good in Tampa. Mike Evans pulls in another touchdown.
Two.
Oh, excuse me, two.
Two.
Is that your guy? Is he on your team too?
I believe so.
Oh my goodness, look at you. We talked about the Rams. I'm not sure. I think there might be some funny business fans. I'm gonna have to go back and check the book because I'm not sure I picked the Rams over the Lions or why I would. I can't explain why I would have. We explained that outcome, and Cleveland picked the Niners. Look at that. Cleveland picked the Niners over the Jets, and he's going to give me the East Coast to West Coast travel. What is that? Why you picked the Niners over the Jets? Why you picked the Niners over?
It's part of it.
Okay. As for your picks against the spread, Chicago -4. Good thing for that defense. The Chargers. The Chargers over the Raiders, and in Houston failed me. The one team I would have put money on failed me. What man, I don't know about that. Cleveland, and then you had Miami, who failed you. Minnesota and the Chargers. Look at you. Don't like the Chargers, but you're picking them. In fans. So if there's any discrepancy, you can see that I clearly won the pick segment, clearly without question. The picks against the spread, we tied. And then we go down to our confidence pick, Cleveland. And he's going to tell me, oh, it's those Bengals. And this is why I hate this section. But as you see, fans, I got 15 out of 15. Cleveland, 13 out of 15. And he's going to blame Joe Burrow and the Bengals for that. But yeah, so I'm off to a good start. Basically, is the moral of this story here. And when we look at the picks for this season, Cleveland, can you see the picks for this week?
For this week, yes.
So I had to jump. So since Cleveland tried to give you guys some, the misnomer that I was following his lead and cheating off his playbook, I had to go in here and throw my picks in first, and then look what happens. 14 of 15, 13 out of 16 teams, Cleveland copied me. We both had the Bills winning. Both had the Cowboys winning. Both had the Lions winning. Cleveland has the Colts, beating the Packers. Explain your pick.
Yeah, Malik Willis will be starting at quarterback for the Green Bay Packers.
He's been there about 3 weeks. You don't think he's ready?
Nope.
Yeah, I mean the Colts aren't as good as the Packers are. You know that.
Okay, we're about to find out.
The Jets, I got the Jets beating the Titans, San Francisco beating the Niners, Seattle beating the Patriots, Washington beating the Commanders. Now, why do you have Seattle beating the Patriots? Isn't that a West Coast to East Coast trip?
It certainly is, Cam, and I was not really all that impressed with how the Seahawks offense played in the first half. I was impressed with the adjustments they made in the second half. Going to the run first and using play action to kind of create more mismatches. But I just didn't see anything from the Patriots that said, ooh, I should be afraid of them. They didn't look very good against Cincinnati, but Cincinnati didn't look very good against them. And I certainly think the Seahawks defense is much better than the Bengals defense. So from what I saw in the first week.
We both have Washington. We both had the Chargers beating the Panthers. We both had Jacksonville beating the Browns.
Go down to
we both have the Chargers beating the Panthers, the Jaguars beating the Browns, the Ravens beating the Raiders. I got the Rams beating Arizona. Why do you think Arizona's going to beat the Rams?
I think that they're a little bit miffed that they weren't able to kind of hold on to their lead in Buffalo. And that last play of the game, I think they thought they probably should have converted that and try to make it like a one possession game to kind of, tie or win. And I think they're going to be at home and a little bit angry. adverse. The Rams losing their starting left tackle and their starting number 2 receiver.
I got the Rams going to Arizona. What do you think about your boy only getting 1 catch for 4 yards? Marvin Harrison Jr. Were they using him as a decoy? I mean, they put up points on the board.
You don't use number 4 pick in the draft as a decoy.
So. But why didn't he catch a pass? Was Kyler not getting on the ball? Like, I didn't really watch any of that game, to be honest with you.
It was a little bit of him just not, getting separation.
Oh,
Kyler is, if you're open, he's going to throw it to you. It's not like he's, discriminating about where he's throwing the ball. So, yeah. But I don't know if you did see Kyler check down and miss Marvin Harrison wide open for a touchdown. So that's something they got to work on.
So no chemistry there.
Yeah, he was wide open, and they missed him.
So we have the Steelers and the Broncos, which is at least Russ sticks it out and plays 2 games. I don't think Russ wants to play anymore. I don't think. How could you not? You can't let a young dude take the position.
Like Russell Wilson's calf injury, trying to play quarterback in the NFL.
Chiefs beat the Bengals. Any chance the Bengals? No, let's not even say win the game. Any chance the Bengals beat the spread?
Absolutely. They have Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase on their team.
Okay, I mean, just what, but
and T. Higgins comes back this week, which makes a significant difference.
Yeah, because McDuffie can't cover everybody.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but I noticed you didn't take the Bengals to beat the spread.
No.
And then we both got Houston to beat the Bears. Now, was this a hard pick for you? Was this a difficult pick?
I mean, it probably would have been if I had not seen the first week of Caleb and the maturation. It's curb your enthusiasm a little bit. It's going to take a little bit longer to kind of get out the gates. And I didn't like the fact that Rome kind of hyperextended his knees week to week. I didn't like the fact that Keenan was looking like Rip Van Winkle out there.
Oh my goodness, he gonna be taking shots at Keenan all season, fans.
This is probably
only because I called him a Hall of Famer. If I didn't call him a Hall of Famer, he would have been just another guy out there. Because I called him a Hall of Famer, he's gonna be taking shots at him all season long, fans.
So this is probably not the week for them to turn it all around. And again, this is a Super Bowl preview. So,
you still on the Super Bowl preview. I'm sorry to break it to you, bro. Okay, so let's just say the Texans win this game as you pick. Let's say you're correct in your pick.
Okay.
How many teams have started 0-2 and made the Super Bowl, fans or Cleveland? I can only think of one.
Well, they're not going to.
I can only think of one, and they don't have the talent. And
but Cam, they won their first game.
Oh, boom! Good point. They deserve to lose. Okay, all right.
They deserve but they didn't.
That blows my theory out. That blows my theory out the water.
Yeah. Retreat.
Oh my goodness! I know this is a difficult pick for you. Maybe I can get Cleveland to come out and watch that game. Maybe I can get them to come out and watch the game, or maybe it'll be allowed. I don't know. I haven't figured out which one it is, fans. Maybe he'll be allowed to come out and watch the game. Maybe that's better way to put it. And then we got the Falcons and the Eagles. Well, we got the Eagles comfortably winning this game. You can see the picks against the spread. Can you see that? Do I need to move it over? There we go. Picks against the spread. I got San Francisco -6. I got Washington. We both have Washington -1. I got the Rams. The Rams are getting points, so I'm taking the Rams over Arizona. Who's San Francisco playing this week? San Francisco and the Vikings. Yeah, that's going to be a washout. You got Washington. Um, over the Giants again. Yeah, we both agree that the Giants front office should be blown up. So a stick of dynamite need to be thrown in there. And then the Jaguars. Who you got the Jags beating? The Browns. Oh, that's you. You're already on Deshaun, huh?
Already.
Our picks, our confidence picks this week. I got Philly, Houston, San Francisco, Baltimore, and the Chargers. I see you got the Chargers. You don't like them, but you got Herbert. You confident Herbert winning this week. Baltimore, Jacksonville, KC, and Washington. Where's Houston at? Where's the Texans at?
They're not on there. They're on your side. They're not on my side.
Yeah, well, I'm seeing that, but does that mean you don't have no confidence?
Other games I felt more confident about, which is why I went with that.
Okay, all right. Well, fans, there's our picks for this week. So we recapped our picks for week one. We looked at our preview for week two. When the Mariners just gave up a homer, So 5-1 down in Metro Stadium down there. Tatis, all people, Tatis went up and popped one. How about that? Um, Cleveland, just not a whole lot of NBA this week. A couple things that kind of rubbed me the wrong way, I will say. Uh, and I'll start with that. Um, I don't even have it on my board, but Adam Silver says, hold on the expansion. I don't know. Have you heard that report? Adam Silver says, hold on the expansion because initially the thought was that um, they do the TV deal and then expansion was supposed to be the next thing on the board. Adam Silver says, hold up. There's no hurry for this. Owners will need to settle down and count their money and make sure there's enough money there, and they're not ready to add two more groups into the party, even though these groups is just going to feed them more money. What's your thoughts on Adam Silver saying essentially pump the brakes on expansion into the NBA?
They're flush with cash, but they're greedy, so they will eventually get to it. I would assume within the next couple of months.
Oh, you think okay? You saying quicker? Adam Silver was like, oh, pump your brakes. There's we haven't pinpointed any market. The question was asked: is it still going to be Seattle? Is it still going to be Vegas? He said, pump your brakes. We haven't pinpointed anyone, and we're looking at all of our options in the country and outside the country. Sounds like a lot of it was. You took it as a lot of lawyer talk, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, that's fair. The Lakers, they're gonna wear a band, number 44 band on their jerseys in honor of the logo. What's your thoughts on that? Even though that they didn't really have a great relationship with the logo since he left the.
There was a bittersweet, but it is still the logo, and they still love him to death. I appreciate all the contributions as a player, a coach, a GM, an executive, a president, recruiting Shaq and Kobe, all of the above, man. Yeah, much love, much respect.
I don't think I ever heard Jenny or Rob say those words, man. What's going on? Are you? I mean, is this the change? Is this probably why you're not on the text thread no more? Because you're willing to go out on a limb and say these things?
They feel the same way. Why you think they got the band? That's where
Mm,
it came from.
okay, all right. Did they tell you that, or you just that's you pulling out from past conversations?
I mean, Jeannie said that earlier.
Oh, okay, okay. The NBA they expand the coaches challenge rules to include out of bounds plays. So now, if the ball gets tipped out of bounds, not only can they look at the ball being who tipped the ball out of bounds, but they can actually look at if the guy was fouled or a foul was occurred while somebody tipped the ball out of bounds. What's your thoughts on this?
Great.
You
The
think so?
more
You think
opportunity, the more opportunity to get calls right, the better.
Well, that's there, but man, there's so many of those plays. Well, there's three or four, I guess, not so many, but there's maybe three, four, or five of those plays a game and they get real critical down in late in the game. Man, if we're talking about extending the game. That's going to extend the game, don't you think?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Um, Asia Wilson, she missed her first game since 2019. The Aces lose, but tonight they came back. Asia Wilson played. They came back and beat the Fever. Did you see that at all?
No, I heard that it was going to be a marquee matchup. I didn't actually see the game, but I'm glad that Asia was able to come back and get back to her dominant ways.
Yeah, came back, got to her dominant ways. Caitlin Clark missed a couple wide open threes. Man, they were down inside double digits in the last couple of minutes of the game. Caitlin Clark missed a couple wide open threes. I don't know what that all was about. I didn't see the whole game. I just saw kind of the last the fourth quarter rather. Um, but Caitlin Clark put up 26, 12, and 5 against the Dream. I think this was Sunday night in overtime. She became the first player since 1999 to play all 45 minutes of the game. Maybe so it was a little fatigue setting in for Caitlin Clark. What do you think there?
Perhaps, definitely, that could have been a possibility, a factor in why she was not as productive as she typically is.
By Angel Reese having the wrist surgery or the wrist injury that ended her season, did that end her hopes for the rookie of the year?
Yes.
Okay. All right. That's about it for the NBA conversation, Cleveland. As I said, there wasn't much. There wasn't more this week. Cleveland. This week in history, man. Hurricane Gilbert ravages Jamaica and over 300 dead in its path. This was September 10th, 1988. Do you recall hearing that?
I don't recall hearing about Gilbert being that catastrophic in Jamaica.
September 10, 1961, Jomo Kenyatta returned to Kenya from exile to lead his country. This is 1961. September 7th, 1987, 12 people died in a shootout at Jean Bertrand Austrie Church in Haiti. 12 people shot dead. September 11th, 2001, Cleveland. I'm sure you recall where you were at when they hijacked 3 planes and hijacked some planes, ran 2 of them into the Twin Towers in New York, one into Pennsylvania, and one to Washington, D.C., Cleveland. Where were you at on September 1, 9/11?
September 11th, 2001, I was at home and got a bunch of crazy random phone calls very, very early in the morning. And people know, especially at that age, I'm not really one for being up early in the morning, but they were like, hey, turn on your TV and see this. And it just, it reminded me of Independence Day. I didn't really think it was real. It just looked just kind of like, wait, that can't really be happening. But then to kind of understand the gravity of the situation and then try and get ready, prepare yourself, and kind of go to work. It was it was very melancholy, very much a state of shock, and just trying to kind of get through the day. And that was just the topic of conversation for everyone, every call. I was in mortgage brokerage at the time, and so even though you're trying to kind of get through certain things, it was just more than difficult.
It was a weird day. I was up here actually in Seattle. I was working, and the wild thing was I was out kicking it the night before, so I was late to I was already late. I was supposed to be at work at 6 o'clock, but I was already late. But I woke up, in the hotel room, sleep with the TV on, and I wear contacts, but typically don't wear them to bed. So I did have my contacts in. So I wake up kind of groggy and I'm wiping my eyes and I hear what woke me up is I heard them, oh, they just said a plane ran into the building. A plane blew into the building. And I'm thinking like a plane went into the building. Like That didn't compute. Like I'm thinking, okay, this must be a movie. I don't know what movie, and that's what I looked up. I was like, what movie is on? Like I don't remember having it on a movie channel because usually you see it did the news or ESPN, right? The TV just kind of naturally falls onto one of those channels. Um, and they were just like, yeah. And I heard the conversation of what was going on, and then I kind of just wiped my eyes and looked up, and I did vividly see the second plane run into the building. And I'm like, hold on. And now I'm like, did I really see what I thought I saw? Like now I'm awake. Like, did I see it? And then I look at the time. Oh shit, I'm late for work. Okay, so let me get up. I was in Northgate, had to go downtown. So I was like, okay, let me go. Hold up. Hoping my boss, who I know's on, he was from the East Coast, but he was in Vegas at the time. I'm hoping he doesn't call me before 7 o'clock because he'll find out that I'm late because he won't hear me at work, right? I'm saying I can't answer the call and fake like I'm not at work, right? So I was supposed to be there at 6 o'clock. So I'm get up, jump in the shower. Uh, Again, I'm still tripping because of the way I heard what was going on. Get in the car, I'm racing. Now it's all over the news of what happened. I'm racing to work. I finally get to work, and everybody's stuck at the TV in the break room. Everybody's stuck. Like it's really like nothing's going on. Everybody's stuck at the TV, and I was like, then I called my boss. When I got to work, I called my boss. I'm like, damn, and he didn't pick up. He called me back. He's hot. He's like, Cam, just go home. Just go home. Just go home and be with your family. But I can't go home because I really have customers that I've committed to helping out this day. Um, and kind of things I need to do. I was building a shop inside the Home Depot downtown. So it was really like I couldn't, I don't know, when I'm committed to doing something, I can't just drop everything. So I stuck out probably till about 10 o'clock. Um, and I went to the break room and then I saw the second towers collapse, watching it on TV. The second tower just eventually just kind of succumbed to the heat and everything else and just kind of crumbled. So then I went to my mom's place. I went to my mom's job and just hung out with my mom the rest of that day. It was kind of a weird day. Then Cleveland, so that was September 11th, obviously. Um, I get a chance to go. Well, they asked me, "Do you want to go to New York?" And I was like, to do the same thing. I'm open up these different stores, and I was like, absolutely. Like I really legitimately wanted to go and kind of and help out. Number one, because at the time we're selling tools. So we're selling concrete breakers, drills, saws, and all that stuff. That would have been what do they call it? A big gain, a swell of sales because we're selling tools were being donated, but we could have sold tools like they needed tools. I was like, absolutely, I want to be a part of that. Um, but I didn't get out there. I got out there November 3rd, I think it was something like that. So it was like 2 months after Cleveland. So of course I want to go see monuments, but I want to go to Ground Zero. Ground Zero is kind of cordoned off. Ground Zero is still smoking though, Cleveland. The crazy thing, 2 months later, like there's still plumes of smoke rising still 2 months later after what happened. Um, I get off the so I'm in downtown, and I'm not sure how familiar you are with New York City, but when I'm there, one thing I wanted to see was the Merrill Lynch Bull, right? That happens to be like 4 blocks away, like really close to the where Ground Zero was. So I'm walking, and they told me where the bull was, and I had just kind of come and get as close as I could to Ground Zero, but it was so cordoned off. Like there was only a couple areas where you can really kind of see the damage that was done and see the rubble that was left. So I kind of saw that already and kind of came away. Now I'm walking towards the bull, but It this was still 2 blocks away from Ground Zero, and this particular store, I want to say Guess, maybe it wasn't Guess, but I want to say it was Guess. They had taken, like, these windows were blown in, right, blown in, and what they did is they took everything that they had right in the window, what do you showcased in the window. They took that and put it against the wall, and it was all encased. So what you saw was the sweaters as they were in the window, like when it was blown in. So dusty, ripped up glass shards and everything. That was like intriguing. I'm kind of stuck on this, right? Like, this was a clothing store showing brand new stuff that was just, and you got a good look at kind of the damage that was done to these clothes 2 blocks away from Ground Zero. So then I'm looking at this, and I have to go down the street, still a couple more blocks to the Bull. And if you've been in New York at all, you kind of know, like, New York is a fast paced place. Like, everybody's moving at a fast pace, everybody's talking at a fast pace, everything going at a fast pace. That's why the common phrase in a New York minute, right? Everything moving quick. So this lady, I had an idea where I was going. They told me to go up down the street, so it's a few blocks. I didn't know where I was going, but I had an idea where I was going. So I get off there's a public bus that came and stopped in front of this store that I was looking into. Across there was another tour bus that came again. You can only get the closest to Ground Zero was kind of like 2 spots, and I just left one of them. But there were a tour bus that was letting people off. And I asked the lady, I was just like, "Ma'am, do you mind telling me where the Merrill Lynch Bull is?" And she's like, "Yeah, just walk with me. It's just a couple blocks up the street." And so she's walking. It felt she's like at a light jog. That's what it felt like. And so I'm, I gotta keep up with this. I mean, I don't want to say she was an old lady, but she was definitely older than me at the time. But I gotta, I'm in a brisk walk to keep up with her. And she's like, she said, you're not from here, are you?" And I was like, "No, I'm not." And then we saw at that time, the tour bus was letting people off. And she's like, "Man, I can't believe all these people that come up here to see the Ground Zero. Like, I worked in that building. Like, I have friends or coworkers, colleagues that I lost in that building in the rubble. Like, I don't know. It's so morbid. Why would people want to come see that?" And I was like, I couldn't tell her. I was just leaving there.
That's
I couldn't say it. I was like that. How dare they? I couldn't say it. But it was pretty funny. We just kind of got into a light walk, and we walked walked up a couple blocks, and there it was, the Maryland Pool. But even so, for I was there from November, I think, until right before Christmas. So, like, 6, 8 weeks in the area. And it was, man, it was everybody felt it. Like, you couldn't go anywhere without being remembered of the scenario. Obviously, we'll never forget. But everybody, it impacted so many people. Like, that was a horrific event. I'm glad that I got to go out there, like, when it was still fairly fresh. You know what I mean? Like, just to kind of experience what the city was going through. Yeah, and it was just a horrific event for not only New York, but Pennsylvania and DC. Anybody, I pray for anybody who lost family members during it. Obviously, kids lost their fathers, wives lost their husbands, and they were just going to work that day. Um, and the tragic event for all involved. I actually went back to see the new the new World Trade Center that they put up, and they got the infinity pool, kind of sort of like. Actually saw was there to see that kind of when it was erected a couple years later, so that was pretty cool. Yeah, man, horrific event, horrific event. I was just kind of fortunate I got to kind of experience it more so than a lot because obviously we're here on the West Coast, 1,000 miles away, and it didn't. I don't know that it had the same impact on us that it did on the people, obviously in the Northeast, who had family and friends who actually worked and lived in it. It was a different deal. So, yes, definitely a day we'll never forget. We'll always remember. Um, Get me on another day, and I tell you, and we'll talk about it off air, Kumar, why I got a different perspective on kind of what happened. Not a conspiracy theorist, but just a whole different perspective on kind of what really happened on that day. But on 9/12, 1977, noted anti-apartheid activist Stephen Bantu Biko dies in police custody after suffering a major head injury. Police claimed that his death was a result of extended hunger strike, but he was in custody. He had major head injuries. Come on now. Um, 9/12/1992, Dr. Mae Jemison is launched from Kennedy Center into history as first African American in space. That was 1992, Cleveland. You remember
I do.
that? Also, September 12, 1996, Tupac succumbs to bullet wounds and dies that he suffered a few days ahead of being after being shot 4 times. Obviously, in the car with Suge Knight. Do you believe that Suge had a hit on Tupac? You do. You do. Um, it, why would he paid them to shoot him too? Was it he? What was that? Just to make it look good? Wow. Okay. Okay. College football, Cleveland is back. I know you're a big college football fan. Is you back? You 2-0.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
At least to get into the college playoffs, the way that they're looking so far.
Florida loses again. Florida State loses again. Let me say that. Florida State loses again. What's your thoughts on Florida State not able to get a W?
They're not very good. The quarterback play is suspect. It's going to be a 4 or 5 loss year for them.
Um, Northern Illinois accepts Notre Dame's $1.3 million, was it, to play Notre Dame, and then beats Notre Dame. Cleveland, is this a worse loss? Is this worse than Appalachian State beating Michigan?
No,
It's not.
it's very, very close.
Did Appalachian State get 1.3 million?
I'm not. I don't know. I don't know how much money they got to do it, and I mean, obviously, the money that gets thrown around is a lot more, um, exemplified nowadays than it was back then. I mean, there's
But I
higher.
don't remember. I don't remember Michigan being well. Not that Notre Dame is were they ranked? I don't even if know if Notre Dame was ranked. But I don't. Notre Dame was kind of a shoe in for the national for that top 12 team, right? I don't remember Michigan being that good. Like they weren't.
It's only the second week, so
Mm, Tatis steals a homer. Who does steal the homer from? A Rosarina. Tatis steals a homer. What round is? What inning is this? It's a 5-2 game. Let's see. And he goes up and gets it. Give me that. Give me that. Tatis doing his thing. Did you see it? You see it?
I did not. I'm doing the show, Cam. Yeah, I didn't see it.
Um, talking about Michigan, can Denard Robinson and Braylon Edwards win their lawsuit against the NCAA and the Big Ten for wrongfully and unlawfully denying their opportunity to make money off their image and likeness?
No, they cannot.
You heard this?
Nope.
Yo, you didn't hear about this?
Nope.
Yeah, I don't think they
Retroactively
can.
go back. I think the only time you can really do it is like when they do it like in a video game, like the O'Bannons. Well, in that case, because it was like, yeah.
Yeah, but now that they're paying players, the players can get NIL deals. They're saying that they deserve some money from that.
No, I mean, how far are we going back with this, man?
Like, yeah, the bad timing, bad timing, fellas. I hate to say it, but that's what it is. Bad timing we're looking at. Um, are you okay with Ray's Edwin Uceta being suspended for 3 games for hitting a batter?
Yeah, stop throwing baseballs at people, man.
I mean, he said it wasn't intentional. So, if these guys can't a ball can't get away from them.
What were the circumstances before he threw the pitch?
I mean, somebody may hit a home run before.
Okay, well then, yeah, man.
The GM is suspended for 1 game. Are you fair with the GM being suspended for 1 game?
I mean, what are we talking about? What, institutional control? Is that why he got the suspension? I mean, did the manager get suspended? I mean, how many people got suspended for this? Clearly, it was like not an accident. I didn't see it, but
So how you so quick to say it was not an accident?
because everybody got suspended, you're already saying, I think the batter before him hit a home run. All right, must have showed him up, or no, man. People get their hands broken. People get their feet broken, like throwing at people. Don't 96, 97 mile an hour fastballs. No.
Yeah, I'm sure they don't feel good, but how suspending is a lot. Suspended for 3 games. Now he don't usually pitch. They pitch every 4 or 5 games. So do you think this is a
Starting pitcher or relieving pitcher?
What is Uceta? Is he relieving?
I don't know.
This is probably a relieving pitcher because it was late in the game. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know how you can really suspend the players. Will the new Team USA soccer coach make a difference, or is America just not good in soccer?
America's just not good at soccer.
I mean, it's not like we can go and outsource soccer players.
No, there's plenty of eligible, soccer players. They just don't focus on soccer. They focus on other things.
U.S. Open winners, Ariana Sabalenka beat Jessica Pegula. Is that more impressive than Jannik Sinner beating Taylor Fritz?
Yeah, Jannik Sinner is the #1 player in the world. Sabalenka, in her own right, was 2 or 3, but that was a much more difficult match than against Taylor Fritz.
Are you interested in? Yeah, he licked up for that one, bro. He licked up those. What are those walls in at the Metro Stadium? 7 feet tall.
I'm not sure. They're all different.
Center field.
Yeah, I don't know. Although it's not uniform from.
It's not across. No, I mean it's uniform at T-Mobile. T-Mobile Park, now called Metro Park.
I don't know how tall the wall is.
Okay, are you interested in seeing Canelo Alvarez and Edward Berlanga this weekend? No, UFC also has a match this weekend as well. Are you gonna watch that one? Not sure who's in the UFC. Who's in the UFC match this weekend?
Somebody and somebody. Dana likes to throw those fighters together and make it seem like it's a really big deal, even when it's not. But they're not big names. That's why you don't know. Otherwise, you would just roll them out.
This is a big. This is some big names on Saturday. I think it is actually.
Okay.
Sean O'Malley and Merab Divashivli. Somebody.
Nope, that's not them. Next one.
What do you mean?
Those aren't big names. Next one.
Sean O'Malley is. Sean O'Malley is. Alex Pereira, Khalil Roundtree Jr.
No, not really. Next one.
But this is the first one at the Sphere in Las Vegas. I think this is the first event there, or first sporting event at the Sphere in Las Vegas. Um, I think that's what makes this a big one. Um, Not interested in either combat sport this weekend, huh, Cleveland?
Just really.
Okay. Well, so are you interested in Shohei going 47, 47 and 47? How does that move you?
Getting closer.
Oh, it's getting closer to moving you?
No, getting closer to the 50-50 club, which is quite prestigious. So,
Who else is in that club?
that it's exclusive. It would be just him. He'd be the first member.
So then you have to give this guy some credit. You have to give the guy who's number 7 in hits with 164 this year, number 2 in runs at 115, number 5 in RBIs with 101, number 2 in home runs this season, number 2 in steals this season, number 2 in slugging this season. And
he's not number 2 in steals. That's not true.
Who's ahead of him, Cleveland? Where is he at? Where do you
bases? 47.
Yes. Huh?
Now I have to look it up.
No, I'm telling you. You think I'm going to lie to the fans? You think I'm going to not be realistic with the fans? Come on, shame on you. He's only behind one guy, LA De La Cruz, and now he has 64. Now Shohei has 47. He's comfortably in second place. Did you see it? Did you see it for yourself? Do you see it for yourself? When you see it for yourself, I want you to apologize to me in front of the fans for doubting my MLB knowledge, especially when it comes to Shohei Ohtani.
Fans, I don't see it. Perhaps see it, but I don't see it.
All of a sudden, your internet access is gone. Your phone can't reach it.
The Wi-Fi connection right here.
Yes, fans, you see. Oh, I put on my live track. Yeah, my live track, fans. You see, man, I tell you what, this guy, number 2, the only person ahead of him is LA De La Cruz. Okay, at 64. Okay, and imagine if he was pitching. Imagine if he had 100 strikeouts, Cleveland.
If he was pitching, he wouldn't be stealing 47 bases. If he was pitching,
that's what you think.
He hit 47 home runs.
That's what you think. That's what you think.
That's what I know. That's what I know.
Wait till next season when he's pitching. He's gonna have 100 strikeouts and 50 stolen bases. Then what you gonna say? You're gonna have to, Cleveland. Like I keep telling you about what's happening in Safeco or T-Mobile Park. You're gonna have to respect that, and we're gonna have to start calling that Metro Field now. You're gonna have to respect what Shohei Ohtani is doing in this sport. Sooner or later, you're gonna have to respect it. And I applaud Shohei. I applaud Shohei for not listening to you haters.
I respect.
I applaud Shohei for starting the season, not listening to you haters, not focusing on the hate.
That's all. Is he still betting on Dodgers games?
He was never betting on Dodgers games. That's what, again, another reason I applaud Shohei.
Thank goodness he's still not betting on Dodgers games.
Fans, you hear this haters. You hear this hater, man. It's amazing, the hate. So I got a serious question for you. So you already talked about the high heat. You don't like the high heat. But they've been doing high heat since Satchel Paige been playing baseball. Do the bigger bags lead to more outs, Cleveland, or more steals?
More steals.
Why do you say that, Cleveland? Because now with the bigger bag, the first baseman can stretch out. He can stretch out longer. That ball that throw out from third base or from right field may not be as in years past. That may not be an out because the base was shorter and the ball has to travel longer. Or the second baseman, they can turn double plays a little quicker now because the base package is bigger. Why do you think it allowed for more steals versus more outs?
Bigger bases Base Steelers get
shorten the distance.
further outside. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Base Steelers, either side that they're stealing on, can get further away from the out.
But at the same time, the catcher, if it's the first baseman, the second baseman, third baseman, they're closer to it being out with the bigger bag, right? Either they're stretching it out, either on the stretch, or even they can keep their foot on the bag and just catch the ball. That's a closer throw from wherever the ball's coming from. It's a closer throw with the bigger bag than it would be if it was a smaller bag. Is it not?
Yes. But if I'm answering your question, I believe it affects the stolen base more than it affects the outs. I think that the infielders and their footwork is pretty much kind of in the same place. I don't think that the bigger bag affects the outs as much as it affects the stolen bases.
You never thought about that one, though, did you?
For sure. I mean, when that was one of the first things that kind of came into play when they made it. It was for safety first and foremost, because the collisions were just so close when the bags were smaller. So they make them bigger so the collisions won't be so close. That being said, I think that the infielders have the footwork to kind of pretty much kind of stay in that same zone, whereas, base stealers, it's slightly larger. I think it benefits them more than the infielders.
So with the Mariners minute, Cleveland, I wasn't able to do my statistics because I was surprised that the Mariners was over 500. To be honest with you,
mm-hmm.
What's going on? Talk to us about the Mariners minute, man. What's going on with the Mariners in this last? Let me see again, fans. Forgive me for not doing my homework on the bum Mariners, but I'm asking Cleveland what's been going on here, because the Mariners they had to be on a winning streak because they're 4-6 the last 10 games. They ain't much better. I mean, they ain't nothing to write home about. They're one game over 500, Cleveland. And depending on how things go tonight, they may be right back at 500. What's up with the Mariners?
They're doing what they can do, which is not a lot because they don't hit that well. So I just keep, kind of sound like a broken record. They're squandering historically great pitching. I think that their starters they've missed less than 5 starts the entire season, which is absolutely extraordinary, and they will have nothing to show for it.
So they got 5. They got 5 runs tonight. It's 5 at the bottom of the 8th. So what do you think they'll be able to hold on to this? 5-2, bottom of the 8th. Well, here now we're top of the 9th right now. Isn't it the top of the 9th? It looks like it's going to be the top of the 9th. It's the end of the 8th, so you have to be top of the 9th. Can they keep the San Diego Padres for scoring 3 runs in the next 3 outs?
Yes. They should be able to go to their closer and close it out.
Okay, well, we'll see what these bums do here. We'll see what these bums are able to do, man. You got faith in them when nobody else seems to have faith in them. Because that's how you Mariners do. What's your thoughts on Kyle Schwarber setting a home run record for 14 leadoff home runs? Is that impressed? Are you impressed or no, not impressed?
No, that's impressive. There have been some great leadoff hitters that had home run power. So 14 in a season is quite a lot.
Yeah, wasn't Barry Bonds? Didn't he hit a leadoff for a minute with the Pirates?
Yeah. So it was a short minute. He moved in 3 pretty quickly.
Okay. Well, fans, thank you guys for tuning in. I don't have my soundtrack. I can't give you guys a round of applause for tuning into the Voice of the Fans podcast tonight. Again, this is week 308 of the Voice of the Fans podcast. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. Please hit us up on Twitter with the poll question. Is it easier to tackle a player in the NFL, or is it easier to punch the ball out, Cleveland? Cleveland says it's much easier to punch or tackle somebody than punch the ball out.
Much easier.
Fans, what do you guys think? Hit us up on Twitter at underscore voice of the fans. That's at underscore voice of the fans on Twitter, X, whatever you guys call it these days. Put your answer in the chat. However you're watching the show on HMB Media TV. Shout out to those guys at HMB Media TV or Voice of the Fans on YouTube. Put your answer in the chat. Whatever you think. Appreciate you guys checking in. If you can, if you are willing, also hit us up on the Cash App at the $ voice of the fans, $ voice of the fans on the Cash App. If you can and you are willing, hit us up to keep the show alive. Cleveland, I want to thank you for your participation, man. Keeping the show going. Fans, as always, I appreciate you guys for being a part of the show. Tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend about the podcast, the Voice of the Fans podcast. And as always, fans, thank you for making our voice your choice.